All right, cool. So I think we just like skip ahead to the day that you guys are setting this thing up. So if you guys have seen The Great Gatsby, I'm basically imagining this place as like Gatsby's mansion, but just with like, random space sci-fi shit strewn about. Like instead of lamps, they have whatever they have instead of lamps in the future. I'm so good at describing things.
Is DiCaprio here?
Definitely. Except no, because
Space DiCaprio.
Okay, so you guys knock on the door, and it takes a little while, but of course Mercer doesn't answer the door because he's too rich for that shit. He has one of his butlers come down and do it. And Eros, I give you my official GM permission to imagine this butler as Leonardo DiCaprio.
All right.
So Space DiCaprio opens the door, and he says, now, what is it that you want?
Yeah, and I think, so the way this is set up, probably Tanya has like a suitcase in her hands, and I've got my cane on the one hand, and my other hand is around Tanya, and then as he opens, on her shoulder or whatever, he opens the door. It's like, well, good afternoon, brother. I'm here speaking on behalf of the, I'll insert my law firm here, and I'm like, we're having a benefit concert, which I think what is the last name of this guy? Sorry, the Horace.
Horace? No. Okay, so there was a little bit of confusion. The person you're assassinating is Mercer, named Mercer McCreary, and Horace is his bodyguard who sees into the future.
I meant Mercer then. What's Mercer's last name?
McCreary.
McCreary? Okay, yeah. That Mr. McCreary would be interested in potentially donating to or somehow otherwise supporting this event. We've got all sorts of priests and nobles already signed on. Maybe you've heard of some of them, and I think I have sort of a long list of names that I may be listing off. Some, maybe some somewhat influential figures that you might have heard about for some reason or another. But I'm just like, I think Mr. McCreary would be really, really interested in hosting this event if I could have a short conversation with him, and then I have other sorts of promotional material. It'll just take a moment, and we can talk through it. If he decides no, I'll be on my way. Otherwise, it could be a really interesting event. It could be, and of course, his admission would be free with a space for a friend as well.
Okay, so can you make a talk roll for me? You can take the +1 for having done the research and knowing that McCreary is into jazz. It's a benefit concert, right? That's the event?
Yeah, it's a benefit concert with some like low-level jazz performers there. So. All
right, cool. So the obstacle is it's going to be 8.
So this is a talk with, would it be charisma?
Charisma, yeah. Okay, cool. So he thinks it over a little bit, and eventually he says, "All right. Well, as long as you're quick, I don't think it'll do any harm. Right this way, Mister. I don't think I did get your name."
Yeah, he takes his hands off Tanya's shoulder. He says, Mr. Cooper, and I think it's his left hand as well, so maybe it's a little bit awkward. But you can call me Mr. Cooper.
Okay, so Butler DiCaprio shakes your hand, and he looks down at Tanya, and he says, "Now, what exactly is she supposed to be?"
And yeah, I think as soon as he looks down, I already got this prepared. I'm like, oh, little Tanya here. Actually, I don't think I would use your actual name. What would be a good maybe like Sophia? Okay, little Sophia here is a what would I say here? Obviously, Sophia here is an orphan who would be benefited by the concert. She's actually taken her time to come with me today. She doesn't get out very often. This is just one of many children on Ukiah who have been left behind after all the chaos and bustle of the Sith War. I hope you understand. She's very fragile little girl here, but she is coming along. Maybe wants to be a lawyer herself one day, like yours truly.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, Mr. McCurry isn't so interested in charity, so perhaps it's best if you leave her here.
He's like, well, I don't know. I think everyone is a little bit interested in charity. As a man of faith myself, I feel like we have to give back to those who can't afford it. It's truly, and he's like probably listing this as kind of standard speech of he's heard before people like who turn it down. But he's like, really, at the end of the day, if he truly does not want to support the charity, I think that's his decision to make.
I look up. Miss Cooper's like, it's okay. I'll just wait here in the foyer right here for you to come back.
All right.
Yes, I think that's best.
I'll take the suitcase and like, stay safe. All right. If anything happens, just yell out. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Probably
so
ruffles your hair a little as he walks inside.
So Butler DiCaprio goes, and he's got like a little like earpiece in his ear, and he like presses his finger against it, and he says, "Sasha, can you come down and watch this little girl? I'm bringing this musician to meet with Mr. McCurry very quickly, and just get your ass down here." And a couple of minutes later, a woman in a kind of maid's outfit comes down, and she watches Tanya, and then Space DiCaprio takes Henry off to meet with Mr. McCurry. So I think we'll follow Henry for a bit. So Space DiCaprio takes you. It's quite a long walk actually, because the mansion is really big, and eventually he takes you to this room where you can hear some kind of like yelling inside, and he opens the door, and you see that it's like a dojo basically, and he and someone else are fencing with one another, and the butler says, "Mr. McCurry, there's a musician here to meet with you," and they have a short exchange. McCurry basically tells him the butler assures him that you're a very talented jazz musician, and suddenly McCurry looks interested, and he like takes his helmet, his visor off, and he looks at you. He looks you over for a sec, and he says, "All right, well, spit it out. What are you here for?"
Yeah, and I think Henry, first of all, seems very flattered that anyone has heard of him as a jazz musician. Probably might start by like a little boosting that a little bit, like, oh, I remember, I've been all across the sector, I've been working for so and so company. You might have heard me in so and so like jazz show or whatever, and then kind of launches into what again is probably a pretty standard speech. I think this maybe is
instead of you doing like the exact same pitch before, I'll just get you to tell me like what it is that you want to achieve at this moment, and then you can roll a talk roll. So are you trying to what are you trying to do with the speech?
Well, I think the first thing I would like to do actually is maybe impress this guy a little bit with my knowledge of jazz history, because I think as an insider in the business, I think I might have a lot of interesting just conversation topics to talk about, and my purpose here is I'm really trying to stall for time. So if he looks disinterested in what I'm trying to say about the history of jazz music, then I'll move on then to just trying to convince him of actually signing the paper.
Okay, yeah. So you can roll with you can roll talk with either charisma or constitution, whichever one works best for you. And rolling with constitution, that would be basically you're just you're like giving a never-ending speech. So it would be like testing your endurance, basically.
Well, can I maybe can I roll with intelligence, as not as a representative of how long I'm actually talking, but as a representation of like how much knowledge I actually have on this matter?
Yeah, sure, that makes sense to me.
Any modifiers or?
No. I think the +1 was just for getting you in the door.
All right. Have to ask, right? If that's not going to be good enough to stall for the time we need, I'll re-roll it.
Okay, so I'll give you a choice. So you can either have Mr. McCurry remember you. Like he'll remember, oh, this is that jazz musician. Or you, well, okay, I'll put it this way: either you, as a player, can have control over Mr. McCreary's like impression of you, or Tanya has enough time to do whatever it is she's about to do.
I am not super concerned about his impression of me. Actually, I think I'll just whatever. If it sounds really boring and so forth, so be it. If he reminds me as like that weird jazz guy who just talked forever and tried to get me to sign a paper, I'm okay with that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we can flash over to Tanya. So Tanya, there's this maid lady who's watching you. So what are you gonna do?
I'm going to engage in small talk when I first see her. Like, ask like what her name is, what she does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she just says, "I'm Sasha. I have this job. It's a good job."
And I start act like I need to go to the bathroom.
Okay. Yeah. So she like walks you to the bathroom and everything. It's a probably like a rather like lavish like guest bathroom. Oh no, do rich people have guest bathrooms? Yeah, so she takes you there. What do you do?
Okay, does she walk in there with me, or am I alone?
No, you're alone.
Okay, first off, I act like I'm going to go to the restroom, and then I'll survey the bathroom to get a good impression into my mind for later.
Okay. Yeah, it's got a window to the outside, so. Cool. So aside from the window, there's actually not any like obvious exit out.
Which is fine. I just need to know a place to come into later on.
Mm-hmm.
Once I'm done there, we'll walk back out and say, I'll nod at her and say, "Thank you. This is one of the best bathrooms I've ever been in."
Yes. Okay, little girl. Yeah, and then she takes you back kind of to the entrance area.
And I think this will be when Cooper will finish whatever he's doing upstairs and come back down.
Okay, cool. So, Cooper, by the time all that has happened, your conversation with Mr. McCreary has thoroughly devolved to the point. I think you probably mentioned something about, oh, this is going to be a charity event, we're going to help the kids. And he got, like, weirdly offended about that and told his butler to take you away. So you're being escorted, probably by the butler, but also probably by, like, a beefy, like, basically a security guard. And the attitude is very much like, get this filthy peasant out of here. So yeah, they basically kick you out. And I think that's it for this scene, unless you guys have something else you want to do.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think if they're kind of hurrying me out, probably I might like stumble at the end, with my limp and all, and just like probably like drop my hat or something like this, and I'm just like, you didn't have to be so hurried. I understand if you don't want to support the benefit concert, but trying to shout at the door as they kick me out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, they kick you out. So I think we can skip ahead to the party unless Banerjee and Alan have a scene they want to do.
No, Alan's just kind of waiting around for this to go down.
Cool.
Did she?
Yeah.
Did our client give us some fake names for us to use at the party?
No, you guys can just
fake IDs.
Yeah. Of course she would have done that. But yeah, you as players can just tell me what names you want to have. We don't have to like do the whole thing.
Yeah, I want to go by Alexandria for the party.
Okay. And y'all can just like go by your own like character names if you want to, and we'll just know that like some precautions have been taken so that things won't get back to you. Of course, people will recognize your face if you don't take precautions to like hide yourself.
I look completely different from when I went earlier.
I think,
Okay.
I think there's very little Henry could do to actually disguise himself. So, but I also think he probably introduced himself with the fake name earlier. Maybe it's not that; it's just like he's saying last name but first name.
What was the fake name?
How about we'll do like AJ Cooper, I guess. So like different first name, but otherwise totally normal. Probably use the same firm as well. It's only as a way to like so that people might not recognize him directly, or maybe it's his stage name or something like that. You know, from whenever he was back when he was a performer.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, so yeah, we can skip ahead to the night of the party. As with before, my kind of touchstone is the Great Gatsby. So the way I kind of imagine this is basically as the party from the beginning of that movie, The Great Gatsby, where basically everyone who like lives in the neighborhood is invited, everyone that Mercer knows is invited, and everyone they know is invited. And in kind of that whole mess are the four of you, or the five of you, including Hameen, actually.
Actually, I think I would have to be outside and teleport in with the weapons first off.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, so you guys arrive in some probably like a whatever the like one step up from a taxi, one step down from a limousine is. And Alan, I actually want to get you to make a some sort of roll to see how well dressed Hameen is, because the rest of you I'm not worried about, but Hameen is like a factory worker, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to blend in.
So you're talking about an Uber?
Okay. I'll have Alan roll a lead to try and lead Raheem to wearing the right clothes. Because Raheem won't really...
Yeah. I think that's probably what it would be.
Oh, shit.
Great, so I'll just Hameen looks like a dirty peasant who put on his best clothes and isn't really like passing as someone who belongs here. Cool. So I'll keep that in my pocket for later. So yeah, they don't like turn him away at the gate or anything. He just gets some like eyes. So yeah. Anyway, it's the night of the party. You guys just arrived at the McCreary's mansion. So what do you guys want to do?
So, out of character, our plan is to... I'm just getting this clear with all of us out of character before we do this. So, what I understood was our plan was to wait until he goes into a bathroom and then teleport into the bathroom and stab him or kill him.
No, I'm going to teleport into the bathroom with maybe about 4 mono blade knives for us, so we can have something to assassinate the guy with.
Okay, you're just putting the weapons in the bathroom.
No, I'm bringing the weapons in with me. I'm going to be carrying the weapons with me and hand them off to y'all as we go along the party.
Okay. And then we're going to kill this guy. I'm guessing at some point when he's alone?
Yes, or as long as we get his precog bodyguard away.
Can you only sneak knives in, or could you bring like one laser pistol as well? I don't think Henry has much use for a knife. He has the cane.
Yeah. So any small like weapon, so like a pistol, a knife, anything like that, you guys could conceivably sneak inside. No like laser rifles or anything like that.
Yeah, I can bring a laser pistol with me.
How many?
Who wants a pistol?
I mean, I don't have stab, I just have shoot. So I'll need one.
Yeah, so we can just hand wave the the kind of specifics of the weapons. Tanya manages to bring in like a bundle of weapons, and then whenever we get into a fight, you can just announce like, oh, my character would have a knife, or my character would have such and such a pistol. As long as it's not TL5, and as long as it's not too large, your character can just kind of have it on them, as well as any like street armor.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, it's the night of the party. You guys just arrived. So what do you all do?
I guess I'll start with Henry.
I'm just gonna try and.
Oh, sorry. You go ahead. I've been talking a lot.
Oh, you can go.
Okay. Well, I think Henry is genuinely just trying to like meet people at this party, talk a little bit, probably talk about this event, or just like his life in general. Just garner sympathy among the crowd if he can. I know this is not necessarily the crowd he's used to, but yeah, he's probably just making connections as any lawyer would. You know, if you need anything, call me. He's probably got a business card or something like that. And he's just going to be walking through the crowd.
Okay. Yes. So when you get there, her name, like the woman that you met before, kind of ushers you guys inside. She like lets you through the crowd. Space DiCaprio is like checking all of the guests and seeing like, oh, are you invited? Are you invited? And Henry, you get kind of a weird look, like, oh, it's you again. But then he sees that you're on the list, and you're let through. Yeah, so everybody except for Tanya is inside. And Henry, you wanted to kind of like network, basically.
Yeah, maybe if I can, I would like to see if I can roll a connect and see if there's anyone in here that I might have met before. Maybe I've represented them in some case or something. Maybe I knew them from law school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that with charisma then?
Yes. So on a 10+, you can just detail, like, just tell me what the person is. On less than that, I'll let you know what happens.
It's close, but go ahead.
So close. Yeah, so you have represented one of these people before. You've represented. Let me just pull up the name. Her name is Tao. No, sorry. Her name is Faye. And you represented her in a murder case, basically. So it was a case of dueling, like one noble dueling another, and Faye won, and the aggrieved party wanted like compensation, basically, for their son getting killed. How did that case go for you?
Yeah, I think the reason why Henry accepted it is because, in the first place, is because he actually did believe this person who was killed deserved to die for one reason or another. Maybe they were like just a terrible person or whatever. It was probably a little bit weirdly personal. Any sort of conversations they had between this lady who probably just accidentally killed this guy, and Henry, who was actually pretty enthusiastic about trying to defend her. And not necessarily in the way of like in the court he was just like, my client is innocent, so it happens, it was not intentional, etc. But in personal was like, good job, you just murdered him. Tell me, how did you just like get him right in the throat? Or, so maybe it was a little bit of a weird relationship between them, but he was like a really good lawyer and won the case. So
I'll let you know, and of course you can like back out of this if this doesn't sound like the sort of person that Henry would be comfortable representing. But Faye definitely like killed this dude on purpose. She's like not. I mean, you can think of this what you will, but basically Faye got extremely rich by making claims on noble land. She is a noble herself, so she would make a claim on noble land and then get into like a land dispute and then challenge the other guy to a duel. And she's just really good at winning those duels.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fine as long as it's like the person she killed was like someone who Henry would have a reason to hate.
Yeah. She was whoever she killed was like even worse than that.
Okay,
yeah, so she's a what's the faction? What's the noble house that like makes weapons?
Reticulum.
Yeah, so she's like a Reticulum noble.
Okay. Yeah, I think Henry has a pretty good impression of her, and hopefully the feeling is mutual. So, yeah, maybe greets her in conversation, asks her what he's doing in the party, small talk stuff.
Yeah, so you like run into her, and she's actually friends with Mercer. So she tells you. I mean, you find that out.
Cool. Okay.
All right. So what is everybody else doing?
I think what I'm doing is I'm sort of doing the same as Henry networking, but instead I'm going around to like ACRE executives and using my like knowledge of trade and stocks and figures to like impress them and sort of show that I sort of belong here.
Mm-hmm. So what is your goal is basically
my
to
intention
make
is
it look like
to like if in future they like get suspicious and they come after four of us, I want to like have some sort of advantage.
Okay, so basically
so
just
I
make
can
it
like
so
act like I belong here.
yeah, but like you all already look like you belong here, except for Hameen. But you want to go kind of like above and beyond that, so that you'll look like you belong here, even when the bullets start flying.
Yes, so they think I'm like just another innocent ACRE person.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I think that would be a connect roll.
I'd like to use. I mean, can I use trade because I'm a specialist at that?
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, so it's going to be a trade roll. The obstacle will be 8.
Okay, I got a 9.
Okay, cool. So just let me know in the future if you wanna, because I totally will forget that this is a thing that happened. But yeah, you can basically blend, as long as you haven't like actively murdered someone, you can blend into the crowd, no matter what. Cool. Alan, do you have something that what would Alan be doing at the party?
Alan is going to try and blend in by like leading conversations. Like he would walk into a conversation, stand there for a few seconds, recognize what the group is talking about, and then kind of take control. Like, hey, you should all listen to me because obviously I know more about this than you do. And then after a little while, I'd move to a different conversation, and he's just trying to make the people in this party remember him for being that mysterious guy who is so smart. But he's not actually smart.
Okay. So you're kind of trying to like sow your influence among the crowd, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty tough. We'll say like obstacle 10, and that would be talk with intelligence. I will give you a plus.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Lead makes more sense in this case, actually. So yeah, that would be lead with intelligence because you're kind of trying to make it seem like you know more than everybody else. So I'll tell you what, I will give you a +2 if you instead of doing this to kind of the party guests, you're doing it more to like the security personnel and the like employees.
Sure.
It'll be much easier for Alan to show his influence there. Yeah, cool. So roll lead +2. Not quite. So I don't think that you like fail spectacularly. It's not that they think of you as a jackass. It's just that I think you honestly bounce from one conversation to the next too often, and you never get the chance to really make a lasting impression on anybody. Okay, cool. So Tanya, walk me through how this teleportation gambit is gonna work.
Yeah, as long as I'm within 100 meters of the bathroom that I was in, I can teleport into it.
Okay, and there's no roll or anything. You just get to do that.
Yeah, I was looking up on it. I don't see a roll, but let me just double check.
I think you just exert 1, and then you're done.
And there's no luck in this game, is there?
There is, but let me see how you roll it.
I think there's a luck saving throw, which is like, but I don't know
Yeah.
if that would be the kind of like forward look. I'm not sure exactly because it is a saving throw, so you imagine it's something that would save your life or something.
Yeah, I don't think luck would fit in this case because then luck's usually it wouldn't work because he's already been in the bathroom.
Yeah, so I'm not making her roll luck to see if she can do it. She can definitely do it. The rule says that she can just declare that she wants to teleport. But since it's kind of like a like guest bathroom, I just wanna roll luck to see if like anybody's in there when she does it.
Can I roll a sneak as well and see if I do it sneakily or something?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, so we'll just do sneak, and that will kind of answer our question for us. Yeah, so roll sneak. Great. So I think this 4. It doesn't mean that
Holy moly!
you like go in there and immediately someone starts screaming. But yeah, it's you kind of like teleport into this bathroom, and there's someone standing there just like beginning to like wash their hands. And then this, how old is Tanya?
15.
Yeah, and then this 15-year-old girl with what is, pretty clearly like a duffel bag full of weapons. Just suddenly appears.
Yeah, no, it won't be a duffel bag. It's like she has like a big, nice, poofy dress that she has everything hidden under.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, this woman is still freaked out. So I'll let you decide kind of what you do before she does. But anyway, she's washing her hands, and suddenly this 15-year-old girl in a poofy dress literally teleports next to her. So what do you do?
I say, don't worry, ma'am. I just need to go to the bathroom really, really bad, and I knew where it's at, so I just quickly teleported here so I can use it.
Okay, so I think what she does is she's too stunned to yell right now. But she turns around and she opens the door. She kind of like runs out of it, like back into the party.
I silently curse myself.
Okay, cool. So everybody else sees this woman kind of run out of the bathroom, and then she like slams headfirst into the butler from earlier, who looks like Leonardo DiCaprio, and she just starts wailing like immediately, and the butler kind of like leans down and is trying to comfort her, like, "Ma'am, what's wrong? Has something happened?" And then Tanya, I think everybody sees you come out of the bathroom.
Yeah, that would be about right.
Cool. So,
I imagine with this C4, like a gun or something, or maybe a knife, like drops from underneath your dress and like clatters against the floor.
I don't think we're at that level yet, but everybody sees that this woman has come like screaming out of the bathroom, and then they see Tanya is presumably the cause. And yeah, one of the security guards, one of the like really heavy duty security guards, comes to apprehend you, Tanya.
Yeah, but before I came out of the bathroom, I was stowed. I guess I stowed some of the weapons hiddenly in there.
Oh, you're gonna stow the weapons in the bathroom?
Yeah, especially since I got caught.
Cool. So I think that's probably gonna be another stealth check. Yeah, so if anyone like wants to find those guns, they'll have to make a notice roll and like beat that obstacle. Cool. So anyway, this security guard comes to apprehend you. What do you do? And also everybody else sees this, so you guys get a chance to respond as well.
I will basically obey the security guard.
Alright, cool. So he, she takes you into another room. She, basically sits you down and, like, has a talking to you. She's kind of wearing kid gloves because you're a kid, and basically just wants to know like what happened. Oh, and also she searches you, but I'm guessing she doesn't find anything because you already hid the guns.
I just basically explained to her what I told the lady right before she ran out.
So what do you tell her?
Like I said that I had a question real bad. I couldn't walk or make it to there, so I used my teleport ability to make it to the bathroom.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's like a plausible story. So she just she will remember you, and security will kind of like have their eye on you for the rest of the night. But yeah, she like lets you go after a firm talking to you.
And I'll join the party.
Yeah, cool. So I'm gonna make a notice roll real quick for somebody to see if the other like head of security finds the guy. Because at some point they would go in there and they would check. Let's see. This guy has skills +1, so.
Oh crap!
Ooh, so
How long after this event?
wait. So who do ties go to?
I'm about to look that up because I'm wondering the same thing.
Yeah, because we've got to figure out if you guys are able to like get access to your weapons.
I mean, worst case scenario, I still have the cane, so I guess
Oh no!
we have to beat this man to death with the cane. I guess I got that prepared.
All right, yeah. Just give me a sec. I'm looking for what happens with ties. Okay. Anyway, until someone, I think it's probably better if we just make a ruling on it instead of like going through the book right now. So I'm gonna say that ties probably go to the observer.
It says here in a post skill checks on page 47 that ties go to the PCs.
Oh, cool! Yay! So you guys, he doesn't notice. You guys go to you guys get to keep your guns. So I imagine, like, one by one, you guys kind of go and grab your weapons from out of the bathroom. Cool. So now that you guys are like firmly established at the party, you're on the inside. You've got all your weapons. What do you guys do? What's the plan?
After seeing that Tanya just got detained, I try and meet up with the rest of the group and try and figure out what's going to happen now.
I think Cooper is trying to talk more with this contact of his, trying to figure out anything he can about Mercer, I think it was, that would indicate some weakness of his, some place where we might be able to get him alone, or maybe just like some routine that he has, or what he even is doing at this event. When would be a good time? So any sort of that relevant information.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that would be a talk roll. Yeah. Yeah, talk. So, yeah, go ahead and make a talk check. Yeah, so she tells you a couple of different things. One, and this probably didn't take a full conversation to figure out about him based on this party. He has a really, really big ego. The other kind of like fun fact that you learn that you might be able to turn against him is that he actually sleeps. He has like a captive tiger in his bedroom. So use that information as you will.
Yeah, and I actually, if I could follow this up as well, I would like to try my best to convince this lady, based on my previous experience with this character, that he's just like a total asshole. And much the same as the person who totally wasn't killed by on purpose, as far as the court ruling is concerned, this individual also deserves to be killed. I'm trying to do it subtly, like I'm not, frothing at the mouth, kill this man, but I'm trying to be like, look, this guy, just like the guy you had dealings with before, is just an absolute terrible person, treats his workers like shit, and does not have any respect for the common man, unlike yourself.
Yeah, so, like to what extent are you trying to convince her?
I'm trying to do it such that probably I'm not going to convince her to actually challenge this guy to a duel. But I'll try either or. Like, I'm really trying to push that angle. Like, if you were to do something, and maybe even like if I can, based on the research that we've done, try and bring up some of his lucrative trade deals as well, such that like there'd be more incentive there. But I'm also, if nothing else, just trying to get sympathy such that if he does die, this isn't going to be someone who she really cares a whole lot about having lost like a close friend or something. Like there's a justification. Like he'd get what's coming to him one day. I'm sure of it. So I'm trying to do either.
So
or.
you can. Well, you kind of have to pick before you roll, because it's not the kind of conversation that you can bring up subtly, right? Like if you're trying to convince her, like, oh, it would be a good idea for you to kill this person, you either have to do it or not do it, right? So it's very different if you're trying to convince her he should die, maybe you should be the one to do it, versus it wouldn't be such a bad thing if he got killed. And those are going to be different obstacles.
Can I get any sort of a bonus if I bring up some of these incentives? Maybe I could use like a no check to see if I can remember kind of some of the really profitable things that he has that would be worth killing him for.
Yeah, so I'll just tell you right now, the thing is that she wouldn't actually like legally be able to challenge him to a duel because he's not a noble. He's just a rich corporate asshole. He's not beholden to those same rules.
Interesting. Okay, well,
yeah,
in that case...
It's a little bit taboo for them to be friends in the first place, actually.
Alright, well, in that case, I think, knowing that that's unachievable, I will actually just try and get a sympathy to say, just total scum of the earth, it hasn't even earned his position through noble blood like you. Maybe trying to use that angle instead.
Okay, yeah. That's a little bit more of a continuum. So we'll just make competing roles. I guess I'll just
maybe it'd be notice to try and see.
Yeah,
if
you can roll. Yeah, notice is a good one. So yeah, she'll roll notice and you roll talk. Alright, just a sec. She's got skills +2. Yeah, so you managed to convince her. She's not like immediately going to go off and stab him, but I think that you can see that you've planted the seeds that will eventually result in the end of their friendship, and that she's kind of got it in her head that the world would maybe be a little bit of a better place if it didn't have this guy in it.
Right on. Yeah, Cooper is very pleased. Also very dramatic about detailing like the brutal way in which he had turned down their offer. Didn't even care about the children. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. And she's also probably she's heard rumors of the way that he like human trafficking and stuff, and I think just hearing how he treated Tanya like confirms some of those for her. So I just want to emphasize, she's still not going to be like cool if you guys just walk up and shoot him in the back of the head. But she is a little bit more like pliable. Cool. So what else do you guys want to do? I'll let you guys know that Mercer's kind of got his own like area sectioned off of the party, and he's got a couple of friends that are hanging out up there, and Henry, as soon as you're done talking to her, Faye goes and like hangs out in that area. It's like if you imagine the like special booths that they let famous people sit at the club, where it's like roped off and there's a bodyguard. Except this time the bodyguard is wearing powered combat armor. So that's where he is.
Oh, I'll also go and find the rest of the people and tell the information that I do have about the tiger and so forth. Anything that maybe we could poison the tiger, that kind of idea.
Yeah.
Are we still going to approach the butler? Not the butler, Horace? Mr. Cook?
How many female employees of Mercer are we seeing?
They're about 70% female.
Oh, okay,
Like
never mind.
I'd say the like bodyguards are about 50-50, and the wait staff is about 70% female.
Alright, that plan won't work then.
What were you thinking? Just maybe we can change it a little bit.
I was thinking if we know Horace is with one of these people, if we can implant it in Horace that Mercer was going to fire that woman, we might have been able to bring Horace over, but we don't know.
We can still do it. We just have to try and find which woman. It might be more difficult because
yeah.
Maybe one of the staff know.
Sorry, Evie, your mic is a little quiet. Can you speak up a bit or something?
Maybe one of the staff know.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess. Well, it's kind of more difficult since you failed that roll earlier, Alan. But
Oh, was that what that role was for?
Well, not really. The role before, unless I'm mistaking, the original intent was to kind of like cement a reputation among the staff here. So you failed to do that, but it doesn't make it any harder for you to like reach out to someone as an individual.
Yeah, I'll try and talk to some of the wait staff and
And I think I will go with Alan and probably help as well.
Okay, cool. Do you guys have any specifications for the type of person that you want to be talking to?
I want to get this wait staff person caught in the conversation and lead the conversation towards trying to find out who this woman is by just repeatedly asking pointed questions until they just kind of give up and give me the information.
Do we know where Horace is at? Or Horace, or how to say his name?
Yeah, he's Horus, like the Egyptian god of vengeance. He's with Mercer at all times. Cool. So, Banerjee, how are you helping Alan with this role?
I think I'm probably talking to some other people at the same time, and then after this role we'll come together and share any information.
Cool. Yeah, so that makes sense. Although mechanically we'll only have one role, but like narratively you're both kind of like separately going out, getting information, and then coming back together to the team to like report. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So, Alan, you're not going to be able to get away with making a lead role, because as soon as the staff realizes that they're basically being interrogated, they just say like, all right, well, fuck off then. So yeah, you're going to have to make a talk roll this time. So yeah, it'll just be 2d6 plus talk. I don't know why I said it that way. Make a talk roll. Banerjee, you can help with your talk skill as well.
Which one of us do you want to go? Okay. I will roll it then. So that will add a +1 to, I think, Alan's roll.
Okay. So what is
Making it to 7.
what information are you guys going for exactly?
We're trying to find out
We're sort
who's
of
the person Horace is having the love affair with.
Yeah, I'll just tell you because it's not particularly like secretive information. It's the head of security. So the head of security is actually 2 different people, a man and a woman, and he's having sex with the girl. She's like one of the big scary people holding back. She is the person who interrogated Tanya actually.
He's having sex with his boss.
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh, also they would probably tell you because it's pretty juicy gossip. The male and the female head of security, they're actually married, so it's even better.
Oh. This got interesting.
So it sounds like we have 2 assassination targets now: the male head of security and the Mercer guy. If we're going to try and convince Horace to join our cause, what better way?
Well, having this information, I'm going to spread that rumor around this place like wildfire.
Wait, I'm sorry, what was that?
Now that we know this rumor, I'm going to try and spread it amongst the party goers so that there can be some, not necessarily a distraction, but the party goers are more interested in the drama than these random people walking around.
Okay, what's your like intent there? How does it like tie into the
I
rest
want the information to get back to Horace and the security leaders. So if they don't already know, they will know, and then maybe they'll start fighting and then leave Mercer open.
Mm-hmm. So it's gonna. There's no way that you're gonna be able to like spread the rumor to the extent that like no one's gonna tell the head of security that Horace is sleeping with his wife. But you can definitely get it to almost anybody else in the party. Alternatively, you could just like go tell him yourself.
No, that would be too... I don't think it would go well if I told them. I'd end up shot dead.
Yeah, but anyway, you can...
I would...
Sorry, I was gonna say,
Yeah, what's up?
can we write a note and just like leave it in his pocket? Is that possible? Just
Yeah,
like-
that would be doable. Sorry,
Yeah,
are
but
you
like-
asking in character or like...
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so maybe in character, it'd be like, well, if you know, maybe we ought to give this guy a little hint of what's coming to come. Maybe just like a note, unnamed, untraceable, just a little note in his pocket that happens to say, "Hey, the relationship you have is not going as well as you think it is." I've done this 1,000 times. Little notes to intimidate the opponent. It's a standard practice, really.
You could also just send it to his compat. That's another option.
Anything, really, as long as it's not traceable.
So would that require hacking to be able to do that, since we don't really know his address on his contact?
Yeah,
You might just have a general head of security one. That's like, if any of you have any problems at the party, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me at here.
actually, yeah, that makes more sense than having to hack it. The difficult thing would be making it so that it's going to be so that it doesn't like trace back to you guys, right? Because you could do the amateur thing of just like, oh, make a new email account. But as soon as ACRE finds out that basically, as soon as it becomes an investigation, there's a much greater chance that someone who has the skills to track that thing back to you will get involved.
Okay, so maybe we can try and hack into someone else's account, some other partygoer's account, and use that to send a message to them?
That seems like a better idea, yeah.
Which I can do.
Let's do that.
Yeah, does that make sense? DM? We can maybe hack into someone else's account and then use their information.
That makes sense to me. It probably wouldn't even require that much like heavy duty hacking. You just have to like basically steal someone's phone.
Who has the ability to steal someone's phone here among our crowd here? Who's the sneakiest?
I have a 0 in sneak.
-1.
I also have a 0, so
Roll
you
to
said-
help.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, roll to help or something like that.
Yeah, so I think maybe you mentioned before that there was like a crowd of nobles somewhere. So I think the strategy that Cooper's, here's the plan. I'll go up and start talking to one of these individuals, get their attention somewhat, and then just someone sneak up right behind them and reach into their pocket. Standard practice, done it 1,000 times, works every time. I'd do it myself, but because of and he kind of taps on his glasses, because of the injury, I'm not so great when it comes to really trying to read through phones. It's not my thing. Does that make sense? Is that a good strategy?
Sounds like a plan.
It makes sense to me.
Okay, so I'm going to try and use talk then to engage one of these individuals in conversation. Another noble, different noble than the one I know. And then
Do you guys have
someone
any
else is gonna sneak up behind it.
specifications about like whose phone you're going to steal? Like what type of person, or maybe you have a specific individual in mind?
I wonder, can we, one of the security guards, can we get one of them to, in a conversation? Because I feel like if he's the head of security, yeah, he'll probably, he'll be upset if he hears this from, one of the partygoers, but if he hears it from a security guard, I think he might trust it a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, any of the security guards that's not the main woman, the head of security that's a woman.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So, Henry can roll talk to assist whoever's gonna steal who's basically gonna pickpocket this guy. Yeah, so whoever's rolling can add a +1 to their sneak roll. Ooh. Okay, so here's what happens. Tonya, you engage this big beefcake in conversation, and what do you talk about with him, Henry?
Probably just the rest of the crowd is all super infatuated by this party, but I'm more interested in the security staff here. I'm actually a lawyer, see, and if anything happens, if you need representation on the job, have you ever seen anyone get, I see a lot of these security guards, you get shot or something on the job, and then they just toss you to the side, and it's really unfair. So I'm trying to engage him as if ever you get injured or something like this, contact me and I will represent you so that you won't lose your job and your livelihood and so forth.
Okay, so while you're having that discussion, he feels Tanya basically reaching into his pocket to grab his compad, and Tanya, he grabs you by the wrist and spins around, and And I don't know if you've ever seen this look before, but it's the look of like, basically as soon as he realized someone was pickpocketing him, he decided he was going to beat the shit out of them. And then they saw that person was actually a 15-year-old girl. And he's having some complicated emotions right now. But anyway, he like basically picks you up by the wrist, and drags you off. And the rest of y'all notice.
Do we want to cut?
Do we want to what? Like cut the
carry
recording?
on after this. I can cut the recording after you finish.
Yeah, sure.
Section.
So Tanya, he basically drags you away into some back room, and he like sits you down at a table, probably like handcuffs you, and then a few minutes later, the female head of security comes in to have another talking with you, and yeah, we can cut there and take another 5-minute break.